Year to you. Here we are. It is the Financial Clinic, the very first one in 2021. And I'm grateful for the opportunity for us to do this again this year. Kama kawaida, bench nimenunua mpya, nimeweka hapo nje. Things are looking great and we are about to roll. You know, looking back at 2020 was a harsh year, especially economically. Oh my goodness, it hit us in the face and we didn't see it coming. But thank God 2020 is over. We are into 2021 now. For some reason, it seems like many of us had this notion that once we get over 2020 and we get into 2021, things will revert back to normal. We'll forget about 2020. It was a bad dream. We've woken up to a new year. We begin again and voila. Not necessarily. The question is, what if 2021 is a replica of 2020? What do we do? Question is, when we look back at 2020, are there some lessons we learned that we can apply in 2021 to do things differently? That's the focus of our conversation today on the Financial Clinic, focusing on the business people, entrepreneurs. Kwa hivyo, if you know somebody who's a business person, pigia yeye simu sasa hivi. Tell them to tune in and listen because we'll give them some nuggets on how to do things differently in 2021. Because 2021 is a clean canvas. What we paint on it is up to us. Have we learned enough lessons from 2020 to make better decisions in 2021 where our businesses are concerned? That's what we want to look at on the Financial Clinic today. Well, first edition of the Financial Clinic in 2021. Thank you for taking the time to hook up with us today. We have an interesting conversation just for you. We are talking about doing things differently in 2021. In studio today, via Zoom, I get to hang out with Christopher Odongo, director at Wild International Limited and also the co-founder of SNDBX. Utatuambia inamaanisha nini. He is also an entrepreneurship ecosystem builder and believes in developing partnerships to catalyze the success of entrepreneurs across Africa. This guy is he has 22 years experience doing this, and so he knows what he's talking about. And so that's why I told you need to listen up, because he will give us some information and some nuggets how we can do things differently in 2021. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to an amazing 2021.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too.
I'm looking at part of your CV and I'm saying when I grow up, even me, I'll be telling people now. By the way, before we get into this conversation, maybe you can tell us a bit about what you guys are all about. For somebody who may be looking at Wild and thinking maybe you deal with wildlife. I had to throw that one in there.
We are not dealing with, we are dealing, well, hey, because I have a reputation to protect, yes. I shall not call entrepreneurs and business owners wildlife.
Yes.
Yeah, even though they create a lot of value. I think, let me tell you, you said 22 years, and it just hit me that actually, it is 23 years because I celebrated my birthday just this past December.
Yes.
And the first ever time I worked with entrepreneurs I was like 18 years old. Wow. That's the first time I worked with an entrepreneur. So it's 23 years.
So this thing is in your blood.
Years. It's in my blood.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. And at Wild, we work with business owners, we work with entrepreneurs, and we help them develop strategies so that they can be able to go and win in the market.
That's nice.
And as simple as that sounds, it's what we do. We make strategy for your business very simple. And we make winning in the market also, it stops being guesswork.
Wow.
You know I can do this, and if I do this, I get this result.
That's wonderful. So you're the right
come out of our strategic. Yeah.
You're the right person to talk to. Now,
yes.
Chris, let's go back to 2020 because 2020 was a year that spanned a lot of things around. No one saw it coming. I mean, it destabilized everything. From your view, what would you say were some of the main challenges that businesses faced in 2020?
I don't have to speak from my view.
Yeah.
I can speak from research and from information we collected from entrepreneurs. The top 3 challenges that SMEs had was, number 1 was cash flow. Number 2 was operational expenses. And number 3 was the impact of the crisis. We had the COVID-19 crisis, and the government unleashed all manner of measures, including curfews, lockdowns, no more traveling, social distancing.
Yes.
Those restrictions. Those were the top 3 challenges that SMEs were facing in 2020.
How did they affect businesses in general?
In general, we had loss of customers. What is it called? People could not serve their customers. It's I have a shop, I have opened, but customers can't come to my shop. So I can't serve my customers. I have a business, I have things which I used to do, but I am closed, or customers can't travel. Customers can't. So we had what is called lack of access, and so customers could not be serviced, or customers could not access. And then also customers themselves lost money. So they had an income, they were laid off, now they don't have an income. So those are things which affected businesses. And that's why the number 1 thing was their cash flow. And I think it's even part of what we are talking about today. The biggest thing that stopped for SMEs and for businesses in 2020.
When I look back at 2020, it seems like there are some businesses that were able to adjust and keep moving. Some seemed like they were so hard hit they didn't know what to do. What would you attribute that to? Kuna wale walipenya na kuna wale walikwama.
Let me tell you something about what we discovered. That despite all this negativity and the index, and the COVID pandemic, 56% of entrepreneurs had a positive outlook. 56%.
Okay.
30% were very hopeful of a better future, and 26% were saying, I am going to adapt to the situation. So that is just positive energy coming from businesses, and that positive energy coming from businesses is what talks to the entrepreneurship spirit. Very, very highly resilient. And they were saying, you know what? Yes, there's COVID. Yes, it's difficult, but I am willing to work to go out there. Call it the Christian spirit that we have in this nation. Faith, I am going to go and get it, despite the circumstances. It's a very highly resilient, and that can really, really attribute to a lot of the survival that we saw from businesses that you thought were down and under. Think about businesses that were in the events industry, or businesses that were in the tourist industry, or businesses that were in the hospitality industry. You could think these guys are finished, or even businesses that were in retail and trade. But you know what? People are saying, you know what? I'm going to find a way to survive. I'm going to find a way to grow. And so people did. They rode out the lockdown. And when the lockdown ended, they opened with a big bang. They said, we may not be able to find international tourists, but we're going to open up and offer things for locals. Even the word staycation was invented.
The word what?
Staycation. Instead of vacation, you have a staycation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I think one of the things we saw, and I don't know whether it was just one of those things that mushrooms and then it disappears. Maybe you can tell me. At one point, we had a lot of people selling stuff, especially vegetables, from their car boots, especially on Kiambu Road. Kiambu Road was starting to become famous. You would see all these big 4x4s, what wanauza mboga hapo. I don't know what you thought about that, and was that something that was just a spur of the moment thing to help patch up things, or do you see people continuing with that kind of thinking?
It's called bypass blessing.
Bypass blessing, okay.
Bypass blessing. See, the thing is, people want to survive, and people are very innovative, but at the same time very resilient. So when they are looking at, I have a resource, I have an asset, and I'm looking at the market and seeing there is a need, so what will I do? I will take my asset and I will deploy it to the need that I see. Obviously, all of us, many people rushed into it, and so what happened is there was oversupply, and then prices went down, and some people pulled out. But some people who are going to stay, they're going to stay on the basis of finding innovative ways to still meet the customer needs. Some of them, instead of waiting for the customer to come to them, they're going to the customer. So it started out as I was parking on the side of the road, waiting for customers to come to me. But I realized that, yes, as they are coming to me, I was getting their telephone numbers, finding out if they live within the neighborhood. And for those who live within the neighborhood, now I can start doing deliveries, make it more convenient. And so some people will start out like that, and some people will end up developing a business out of it.
Wow, I like that. I like that. You know, there's something you mentioned there that got me a bit curious. You know, and I'm just wondering, is it something that just happens in Kenya, or is it all over where entrepreneurship is concerned, where somebody begins something and suddenly there's an influx, everybody runs there, and suddenly there's a flood in that area, and then kidogo kidogo, some fall off, some thrive. Does that happen everywhere, or is it just a Kenyan thing?
It happens every single place there's an opportunity. It happens everywhere. You follow the leader. That's why they normally say first mover advantage, sometimes a first mover disadvantage, because you're the pioneer. You had to create for people new ways, and you had to contend with the city council. But once you sorted out city council, everyone knows this is how you sort out city council. You have to you have to get a license. Once you get a license, you have to do this, you have to do this. So it always happens. Even if you look at even say industries such as banking. You know, one person went and started off with the banking mtaani or banking within the village, and other banks followed. And the regulator created a license of this is how you do it. You know? And then others now find a way to do it. So there's always if it is working, others will come. Otherwise, then you have monopolies. But monopolies do not encourage competition. So it always happens. In any industry, there's always going to be somebody who goes in, makes a lot of money, and others also want to go and make money.
I saw a lot of businesses also having to adjust how they conduct business. A good one maybe would be the matatu industry, because now the number of people they could carry was restricted, you know, and then soon enough most matatus have changed the design of their seating to be able to accommodate a slightly more number of people, but still maintaining the distance. We've seen a couple of businesses also shifting purely to be online in this season. So with some of those changes, do you see them as changes that may continue into this year, or were they just stopgap measures for the COVID-19 period? Tukimalizana nayo, we revert back to how things were.
Any business that follows its customer, it's going to have a permanent change. Because if the thing that you did ended up being pleasant to your customer and you got more customers, why should you change backwards? You know, if customers are happier and they're paying you more money, you can't change backwards. So if you started doing deliveries and customers were happy to pay for you to do the deliveries and for you to go to their homes, you now can't convince that same customer to go back to non-delivery. Look, me and you are having a conversation on Zoom. You get? Now try and convince me to come to the studio next time.
It will be hard. It will be hard.
It will be. Yes. And our listeners are watching us probably on YouTube or on Facebook. You know? So now try and tell them that for them to enjoy this experience, they have to buy a TV, then they have to buy an aerial, and then they have to subscribe to a digital decoder. It's not loading. So there are some things which are going to be permanent, and there are some things which are going to be temporary. Now the ones that are temporary are the ones where we tried, the customer, it just didn't work. So if it didn't work, I mean, can you get a shave virtually?
No, that one is impossible.
It's impossible. So either you enjoyed the barber coming to your shop, to your house, to shave you, and you can now afford to have the barber come, or you enjoyed going to the barber shop and the barber is wearing a mask, you're feeling safe and hygienic. Because remember, the barber used to come very close, and sometimes he was breathing. But now he's wearing a mask. It feels more hygienic. He's wearing gloves. It feels more hygienic. He's using more of the disinfectant. So you feel a bit more comfortable in that space, you know. So even people who used to shave less regularly, maybe now they're enjoying it more because it feels more hygienic. People who used to prefer to do it at home are finding, okay, it's hygienic enough for me to venture.
Wow.
So there are things which will die off, and there are things which will survive.
You say that, and it's so true, because I remember when the pandemic hit and there was the lockdown and everything, my hair had grown, my beard had grown, and I was thinking, I need to find a barber. But I was thinking, apana, and I had to change barbers for a season, because there's a guy I saw on social media, and he was basically just taking us around his barbershop, showing us the care he has taken to sanitize everything. He's wearing gloves. I mean, he did like a 10-minute clip, and let me tell you, I was sold. I had to find him, and he cut my hair.
You see?
Yes.
And if you're happy with him, probably you'll continue.
Very true. Very true.
And if your old baba is watching watching this clip, now he knows where ulipotea.
Na anajua kwa nini nilipotea. Anunue sanitizer na aeke gloves kwa mkono. Okay, shortly we'll talk about then, as we get into this new year, what if this thing doesn't change immediately? Because it's almost like people expected tukiruka tu mwaka hivi, things will revert back to factory settings exactly the way they were. Let's just go back to life as normal. But what if things don't change? What are some of the lessons we can pick from 2020 to help us know how to do things differently in 2021? You are watching and listening to the Financial Clinic, the very first one in 2021, right here on Family Radio 316 and on Family TV. We are talking about doing things differently. Remember, once again, SMS line 20316, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. It is Jam 316 Financial Clinic, the very first one in 2021. We are talking about doing things differently in this new year. I have Christopher Odongo with us, and he's a business coach, he's a business strategist, and he's helping us gain a deeper understanding of how we can do things differently. So, Chris, talking about this new year, how can we do things differently? Because there are lots of lessons we learned from last year, and things may not necessarily go back to factory reset as we knew them. So I want you to help us think through some things that we can begin to do differently, especially where business people are concerned.
I think the word that we learned last year and we are learning this year is called new normal.
Yes.
There's no factory reset. Yeah, if you're waiting for a factory reset, you live in a very make-believe world. What is actually happening is the world is moving on to a new normal.
Okay.
And the new normal is social distancing. The new normal is sanitation. The new normal is hygiene. The new normal is delivery. The new normal is online. So if you're stuck in the past, my friend, you're going to soon find yourself out of business. I think the lessons we are learning from 2020 is follow the customer. The people who asked themselves, what is the customer trying to achieve? How can I help the customer achieve what they're trying to achieve using my business? The customer was not so much interested in coming to your store to purchase goods. They're interested in the goods themselves.
Yeah.
So deliver it to them. Take it to them. The customer was actually not just interested in the ambience of your restaurant. The customer was actually also interested in the quality of your cooking. So if you realize that the customer liked the food you are making, then you delivered it to them, and you delivered. If the customer was interested in connecting and having a meeting or having an engagement, then you delivered it online. So if you focus on the customer, then you're going to win. The other thing that we learned in 2020 was maintaining visibility.
Okay.
Maintaining visibility, because all of a sudden the customer is finding the place where they used to go to purchase or to get something is closed.
Yeah.
So what is going to happen? They're going to look for options. Now, the people who maintained visibility were able to attract those customers who found themselves stranded.
Yeah.
We had restaurants closing. We had pharmacies closing. We had laundries closing. We had bakeries closing. People closing because they were afraid of COVID.
Yeah.
So when you go, you'll find denial of service. Your place where you normally go is closed. What do you do next? You look for an opportunity. You look for an option. Now, when you look for an option, the customer who has visibility or the supplier who has visibility is the one you go to. So people learned that maintaining visibility was very, very important, And so if you find the customer, you maintain visibility, then the customer will come to you. And even the people who are remained open, it was important for them to communicate to the customer that we are still open. Come, you will find us. Or even if we are not open, we shall deliver to you. We shall come to you.
Yes.
That. Then the third thing that we also learned is hygiene.
Before you go to hygiene, back to visibility, I'm just wondering, in this day and age, would you say that 2020 has taught us that for you as a business, if you don't have an online presence, if you're not on social media, then that's disaster in the making?
Not 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017.
Kuna wale bado walikuwa wamebakia nyuma. There are those who are thinking they really don't need this stuff.
My friend,
yes.
If there was ever a time for you to be online, this is, in fact, going forward, you have no option of not being online.
Yeah.
Because everybody is finding ways to remain relevant online, and everyone is finding ways to find information about what they're looking for online. So yes, if you're not online, the truth is we really don't know whether you're in business.
Wow. Something surprised me. There's this gentleman, and I don't know whether it's the sister or the wife. They have a van and they sell vegetables near where we stay. And so during this time, because people could not go out to the market or what people are preferring to just buy in the neighborhood, we bought vegetables from their cavan once or twice, and we paid via M-Pesa. So about 2 or 3 weeks later, my wife receives a text message, and the text message simply says, Leo nimeleta this mboga and this mboga and this mboga. Are you interested? These are the vegetables available today. And my wife thought, oh, by the way, if you have these ones, I'll come for them. And I thought, okay, that's different. This guy, everybody who's paying via M-Pesa, they're collecting that information and using it to advertise when they bring new things. And I thought, that's quite innovative.
It is. You have to find ways of getting your customer to come back. In sales, we normally say the first effort you have is get your customer to come for the first time.
Yeah.
When they're in the shop, you must get them to buy more than they wanted to buy. You've gone to a restaurant, you've ordered your food, then they ask you, would you like a drink to go with it?
Yes.
You finished eating, then they come and tell you, we have an amazing dessert selection. Yeah, would you like to taste and sample some? Then when you finish, they tell you, do you have children? Would you like to take for them some cake home?
Yes.
Extend this experience back home. And then when you're leaving, they tell you, thank you very much. Here's a discount voucher. When you come back the next time, we will give you a 5% discount.
Wow.
So in sales, they say you have to get your customer to come back. When they're there, get them to buy more. When they leave, you have to get them to come back again.
Yes.
You receive an SMS from your favorite Baba saying, hi, how are you? It's been 2 weeks. Why haven't you come back? We have this new shampoo in place. Come.
Yeah.
You see, that excites you. So you go back. So that's very brilliant.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hygiene. You had started talking about hygiene.
Yes. So hygiene is very important because now we're in a space where we have a pandemic and it's not going away. Okay? And then all of a sudden, not only is it not going away, people now have realized how important it is to be hygienic and to be clean because they've also experienced it.
Yes.
When you experience hygiene and when you experience cleanliness, everybody wants a piece of it.
Yeah.
Even the young children, they know what it means to be clean. Even though they enjoy playing in the dirt and getting messy, when they're clean, you can see them bubbling and happy. So we all know what it means and we've experienced it. It's like the time when the Michuki rules were introduced and we were told no more standing passengers.
Yes.
We experienced it. We can't go back. We can't go back. So now we can't go back to unhygienic practices.
Yeah.
So as a business, you have to figure out how to communicate to people that you are hygienic, you are clean, and you are open for business. So those are the lessons we learned. I had shared lesson 1, focus on the customer. Know that this is what my customer wants, and this is what my customer is getting from me. And how do I make sure that my customer gets it all the time? Lesson 2, remain visible, because your customer needs to know you're open. And the customers who are going out there looking for other options need to know that when your competitors are closed, you're open and available to serve them, whether by delivery or whether physically. And third, your customers now need to know that you're hygienic and you're clean and that you can be trusted with their health.
Very true. Very true.
No longer just the preserve of hospitals.
Somebody said the other day, when we were in the heat of the pandemic, somebody said, who would have thought that in our generation, we would see the watchman taking the temperature of the doctor before they allow them to come in? I thought that was just hilarious.
That was hilarious, yes.
Yes, that's
huwezi ingia hapa kama temperature yako haijatosha na wewe ni daktari.
Imagine. What about the whole aspect of being flexible, Chris? Because I also saw very innovative things where some of these private schools, they turned their school buses and their school vans into other things to do other businesses. In fact, there was a story of a guy who, he cultivated the field of the private school, like a panda mboga. Now the children are at home and I have land here laying fallow. See what wanataka mboga, and he planted skumas, imagine. So what about the whole aspect of being flexible?
Flexibility, agility, resilience, iteration. It is true. I mean, there's a hotel in Nairobi that converted itself into a COVID center.
Oh, really?
Yes, there's a hotel in Nairobi that converted itself into a COVID center. Yeah, just Google, you will find it. We're not allowed to mention names on air here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Google, you'll find it. There is a school in Tanzania. A hotel in Tanzania. Because in Tanzania, they didn't close schools.
Yeah.
So there's a hotel in Tanzania that converted itself into a boarding school.
Hiya.
Yes. Because schools were not closed. Schools were only closed in Kenya.
Yes.
So in Tanzania, this hotel decided to convert itself into a boarding school. Yeah. And you saw, as you said rightly, some school buses became matatus.
Yeah.
Because, true, I can't transport children, but I can transport. I can't transport children, yes, but I can transport passengers.
Yes.
And some long distance buses became cargo. And some airplanes became cargo planes.
Yeah.
So resilience is very, very important. You must change with the times. You must adapt.
Wow. What about opportunities? Because it seemed like there are some who in 2020 were so quick to recognize opportunities because they were able to read the times and the seasons and how we were going to go with this thing. And they set up, and others waited and waited until we were not going to their shops. I don't know what you can say about that.
I met an entrepreneur in Mombasa once.
Yeah.
And they had a swimming pool. And I asked them, why are you closed? And they mumbled.
Yeah.
And I asked them, why are you closed? Because that was after the lockdown had been lifted, hotels had been reopened.
Yes.
And this business had been in the business of offering a fun place for children to swim and enjoy themselves. And I asked them, why are you closed? They could not answer. So I told them, just go and think about it, because hotels are open.
Yeah.
And they have swimming pools. So you have a swimming pool and you're closed.
And you're closed.
Why? So it is a thing which some entrepreneurs give themselves the fear. And I think we are allowed to talk about fear in this space.
Yes.
Yeah. We are reminded in the Bible very clearly. I've not given you a spirit of
fear. Yeah.
But what? A sound mind.
Yes.
No, we have faith. We have confidence. So why should we allow fear to rule our hearts? Sanitize, social distance.
Yeah.
Find a way to remain open. If you must, deliver your goods and services to your client. The other day, my daughter said, we used to go to the salon, but now the salon comes to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris, I met a guy and we became friends. And I was amazed because for him, what he has seen is a gap in the education sector. Because our children were at home for almost a year, and a good number of children in private schools continued with their lessons online, and it seemed like it worked out. So this guy is actually in the process of setting up a fully online school. In fact, by the time I was talking to him, he had told me he had already like 50 students who had already paid fees for this year. You know, and I'm thinking, who would have thought at the beginning of last year that in a year's time we'd be talking about fully online schools for primary and secondary?
Fully online?
Yes.
Yes, it's possible. It's possible. I know a friend of mine who relocated with her family to Diani because school is online.
Yeah.
So why should I pay high rent in Nairobi? Why should I pay high rent in Nairobi? School is online.
Truly, it's a new normal. Now, Chris, there's something you said when we were beginning this conversation. One of the main things you mentioned is cash flow. And I'm just wondering, what can businesses do about that so that you don't find yourself in the kind of situations that they find themselves in 2020?
I think a lot of our business owners and entrepreneurs start their businesses in a response to what is called, I'm looking for a living. I'm looking to earn a living.
Yes.
You know, and it's not a bad premise to start a business over. You know, it's good. You can start your business on the basis of, I am looking to make a living.
Yeah.
But there is such a thing as savings. And in entrepreneurship, one of the other things that we also teach entrepreneurs is there's something called paying yourself first.
Okay.
You know, there's a way of managing your finances that allows you to keep something small for the rainy day. And it is not something to be taken lightly. The COVID pandemic has taught us that the businesses that survived were businesses that had some cash reserves that they could be able to apply to cover some fixed costs during the lockdown period, so that when the lockdown was lifted, they could reopen. You know, because if you are running a hotel and hotels are closed by law, there's no way you're going to say we are open. You know, the only thing that is going to save you is if you have a cash reserve, so that you can take that money and renovate your hotel in readiness for reopening. So that when you reopen, you can tell people, fresh, new, revamped, open, available for business. Come, experience this amazing thing that we have built for you. You know, and the secret is not complicated. We learn it in the time when Joseph was faced with the upcoming
drought.
What is it called? Famine.
Famine.
Save during the year of plenty, and then in the year of famine, you shall enjoy your savings. So it's very simple. When you're in business and you have years of plenty, save. Guess what? This year we are looking at a possible referendum. And we all know what happens in this country when we go into elections. Okay. And when we finish this referendum, next year we are looking at elections, 2022, election year. And from our lessons of last election year, it became two or three elections?
It was,
I think it was two elections in one. So what do? In the year of plenty, you save so that when the year of challenges come, you have something to fall back on.
Very true.
So entrepreneurs need to know that every single time when you receive money in your business, set aside some for the rainy days, because the rainy days are surely coming.
Very true. Wow. Okay, so shortly we'll talk about what about those who lost their businesses, those who had to shut down completely. How do they rebuild again, and how do they do things differently even in this new year? We are talking about doing things differently for you as an entrepreneur in 2021 so that you can continue to grow and to thrive. SMS line 20316. WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316. It is Jam 316 Financial Clinic. First episode 2021. We are talking about doing things differently. I have business coach and strategist Chris Odongo with us via Zoom, helping us to open our eyes and see how we can do things differently in 2021. So, Chris, I was thinking about the guys who totally lost it in 2020. They had to shut down. Yeah, biashara iliporomoka. But they, like you said, and Kenyans, we have the resilient spirit. They want to try again this year and to rebuild again. What tips can you give them? How can they rebuild again and ensure that this time round, our part we offside?
There's a story that a friend of mine told one time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's a very interesting story, you know, and also quite a funny story.
Mm-hmm.
When we were kids, you know, they would go swimming in the ocean. And you know the way kids are, you know, they just go swimming in the ocean. And the thing is that when you see them swimming, all the kids look like they have swimming costumes.
Yes. I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going.
Uh-huh. Keep going.
So when the tide goes out, you will be able to tell which kids had swimming costumes and which kids did not have swimming costumes.
Yes.
You know. So the thing about COVID-19 is that it's a pandemic that, yes, and sadly, some businesses did go under, you know, and we weep for those businesses.
Yeah.
But there's some businesses that did not need to go under. And those are the ones I want to address.
Okay.
There's some businesses that did not need to go under, but they just had not put their house in order. You get?
Yes.
And putting your house in order really is understanding that beyond your customer, beyond delivering product and services, there are certain things called excellence, systems, structures, governance, you know, customer service, human resource management that go beyond just your normal day-to-day business operations to making sure your business can remain afloat in the face of disruption.
Okay.
So those are the businesses that I would like to first address. Put your house in order, because when a pandemic strikes, we shall know who was swimming with what costume.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there are those businesses that were put in a really difficult situation because the pandemic stopped their business altogether. People who ended up with what you call stranded assets. You know, all of a sudden, by law, you could not keep your business open.
Yeah.
So even if you had the best hygienic standards, the law says for businesses of this type, you're closed. Schools, hotels, events, you know, transport, you're closed. There's nothing for you to do. So those businesses had to redeploy their assets elsewhere. And so as we go into the new normal, those businesses are going to be forced to ask themselves, what can we do with the assets we have to serve other customers or other customer needs that we were never aware of before? Those businesses are going to be forced to ask themselves, the customers we are serving, based on the needs they had, okay, and based on the fact that in the new normal we can't serve them in that way, how can we reposition ourselves and serve them differently? So, and they're not easy questions to ask, but they're questions you must ask. And as you ask those questions, the underlying theme is, where is the customer and what does the customer want to do? Because if I can help the customer achieve their goals, achieve their results, then I have a business. If you don't have a customer and you're helping them achieve their goals and their results, you don't have a business. What you have is something else, but not a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, when we look at the international community and how some of our neighboring countries or even countries in the West, how some of the businesses handled this pandemic, are there things we can learn from them as well, or did they just handle things the way we handled them?
I think if you look across our neighboring countries, if you look in the West, if you look at people who are looking up to Kenya, businesses had the same answers. For them to be able to survive the pandemic, they just focused on the customer and what the customer needed to be done for. They focused on maintaining visibility. They focused on cutting down costs to be able to survive the period where there were low incomes. They focused on restructuring their loans to be able to manage their cash flows. It's the same. There's nothing new that people did that were not done here. They became more innovative at meeting their customer needs. They became more cost effective at meeting their customer needs. It's the same. There's nothing different.
So, Chris, I'm just wondering, looking at maybe the data you've been able to collect, your interaction with entrepreneurs, when you look at this new year that we are celebrating and getting into, do you foresee it being a good year for business people, similar to 2020? What's your feel?
So I was saying that we did report that more than 50% of business owners in Kenya are optimistic.
Yes.
But you see, what informs their optimism is not what's outside. What informs their optimism is their belief in their hard work and in their resilience and in their ability to push against all odds. So what we are seeing is that business owners are saying we are going to work hard because we know that things are going to be hard.
Yeah.
Not because things are going to be easy. We have elections coming. We have a difficult economic environment because of loans. We have COVID-19 going to still continue. So business owners expect the challenges to be there, but they're coming into it saying we're going to work harder than before because we have to succeed, and because we are made of very tough material, we'll survive. And in the midst of that, guess what? The economy last year actually grew by 1%.
Really?
That's what the government reported. Yes. So towards the end of the year, the government reported that the economy had grown by 1% during the COVID period. So it means that there's something working for people.
Yeah.
In fact, towards the end of the year, I remember the central bank released figures that said people had more cash in their pockets because of the what is it called? Because of the tax breaks that the government had done.
Yeah.
I remember meeting some entrepreneurs who were in different sectors of the economy, like furniture, construction, manufacturing, and they said their businesses had grown because they were able to make more sales.
Yeah.
So even despite the difficult environment, entrepreneurs who are hardworking, business owners who are finding pockets of opportunity are able to find ways to survive. But our message is prepare to work harder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't prepare to fail, prepare to work harder, and your hard work is going to actually yield positive results.
Okay. Now, Chris, I know you mainly deal with entrepreneurs, but I'm just wondering, what would you tell? Because there are also a lot of people who are employed who lost their jobs, and people are looking this year to look for new opportunities and to maybe to be able to repackage themselves or something. What would you tell that group of people? They're not entrepreneurs, but they lost a job and they're looking at 2021 and trying to see, what can I do? What can you tell them?
What I can tell them is be ready to work part-time.
Oh.
Yes, be ready to work part-time. And when you get a part-time job, put your heart in it in order to convert it into a full-time job.
Okay.
Because entrepreneurs, business owners are taking a risk-averse or risk management strategy by saying, I'll give you a job, but I won't promise you that it will be long-term.
Yes.
You come, let's see how it works. And if it works out, we'll work out again next month. We'll see how it works. We'll work out again next month. We'll see how it works. Now, that creates uncertainty in the mind of the employee.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking, what if I'm fired tomorrow? What if I'm fired tomorrow? But you see, the entrepreneur is not saying, I've employed you so that I fire you.
No.
What they're saying is, I've employed you, but because I'm not sure about tomorrow, I want us to work hard, both of us today, to make sure that tomorrow we are both here.
Yeah.
So the more both of you work hard, the better it is. In a sense, it's when you get into that opportunity or that employment, it is up to you to guarantee your job.
Yes.
The entrepreneur is not going to fire anyone who's performing and delivering during COVID.
Very true.
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Yeah. But the entrepreneur is also not going to guarantee jobs for people who are not performing.
Yes.
When you don't perform and there's COVID, you'll just go home.
Yeah. Okay, finally, Chris, because our time is almost up, still on the whole employer-employee situation, we saw a lot of changes also where how work was done, and some people had to work from home. I don't know if you see that as being something that will continue and some people will stick to that format because it's saving them time and space and all these other things that come into putting together an office.
So more than 69% of employers said their biggest concern is the health and safety of their employees and of their customers. So you can be sure that work from home will remain something that we will see. And balancing that against productivity. And yes, it's that I want to achieve my objectives, I want to achieve my goals and make sales, but I really care about the safety of my employees, and I also care about the safety of my customers. So how do I balance that? If it means people have to work from home, people will have to work from home, because it's a priority. We're not going to expose people to unnecessary risk just because we want to make money. That's not what we got from employers. Employers, what we got was 69% was saying we care about health and safety as a number one priority. And then the number two priority that was coming at 40% was we care about our employees and keeping them in the workplace. Yes. The only thing is that how do we do that? We're going to do that by giving them part-time jobs. That's what I was saying. It appears on the employee side, it might appear this guy doesn't care about me. He's only telling me that I'm here month on month. But the guy is saying, no, I care about you, but I also care about making sure that the organization can remain and can survive.
Wow. Chris, what's your parting shot as we wrap up?
My parting shot is, if you're not online, please go online. That's number one. Number two, prepare to work harder. Both you as a business owner and you as an employee, prepare to work harder.
Great. Chris, thank you. Always a blessing to have you on the show. Thank you for your wealth of wisdom and knowledge. Ubarikiwe sana.
Asante.
Great. Well, we're out of time, my friend, for our show for today, Financial Clinic. Work harder this year. If you're not online, go online. That's the parting shot. I hope it has benefited you, and we look forward to another Financial Clinic next week, same day of the week.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.